we all have to start from somewhere in life. And for chocobos who are being trained to race in the gold saucer, they have to be learned how to run as fast as they can. They gotta be trained in various ways of being able to be nimble, agile, dodge the obstacles that other chocobos and their trainers may throw their way, and do everything they can to be as fast as possible. And for people like myself who have used this game as a platform for doing speedrunning over the last couple of months, it's not that much different. You gotta start from somewhere, and you have to know the best ways to do various things, and you have to be able to do the best you can to try and finish the challenges as fast as possible. And so it's certainly been quite an experience for me over the last couple of months, and we are far from finished as another couple of significant video game marathons are coming your way involving Final Fantasy XIV. So, with that in mind, greetings people of the world! Matthew back with you here in Raw Autism for another edition of the Tales of Eorzea vlog here on Final Fantasy XIV's Exodus server. And yeah, I think I'll keep the little chocobo in the shot. I mean, heck, it also helps that the chocobo that's currently being trained on the right also helps with the shot also. But yeah, it's been quite a couple of months for me playing Final Fantasy XIV for people on YouTube, as well as for streaming it as a speedrun on Twitch. I mean, getting started with speedrunning late last year, as far as individual levels were concerned, because I had already started, in fact it was over a year ago now, that I did my first 80% run of the Realm Reborn main story, and finished in just under 16 hours, and then a couple months later I beat it by 12 minutes. And even though it will never be recognized as an official world record because it was established before rules were first set, it did motivate me to start doing the individual dungeons, and as a result I've been able to accumulate a lot of world records over the last months of 2018 and also into 2019, as I've also been able to get members of our free company involved as well. Because now it's not just me, it's Olivier, it's Isabel and Emily and Skyla and Shima and Zopus as well. We've all been able to work together to clear dungeons as fast as possible, and in the process we've been able to say that together we hold a number of speedrun world records now in Final Fantasy XIV. Of course, those records are also shared with other players too, so yeah, even though we, it's set so that we are officially credited, the people who are also were involved in the dungeons that we did also deserve their credit as well. So I can definitely say that we are very grateful that speedrunning has given us a new lease on life as far as playing dungeons together, enjoying them, having fun, and really taking advantage of everything that the game has to offer. And knowing that in the expansion as well, when it comes around, that it'll really open up speedrunning a lot more, because you'll see a lot more people running the 2.1 to 2.5 dungeons, the 3.0s as solo runs, as solo attempts, and you also see some of the 3.1 to 3.5 dungeons getting run too, and there might even be a point where we'll start seeing the Stormblood dungeons also getting solo attempts, but that might not be for a while yet. But when that does happen, you know that people will be doing what they can to make their mark. And so it's been quite an experience for us together doing speedruns, but also for myself doing these speedrun marathons since March. The one that I did this past weekend, the ARPG Me, was my 5th speedrun marathon since the start of March. It goes with the 2 that I did in April, as well as the first one that I did at the start of March for North American Speedrunners Association, and so is this most recent one, was also done by them, as well as the live run in Toronto. And so in a couple of weeks, I'm going back. For those of you who haven't heard, I am going back to Toronto to do another live marathon. And so I'm trying to see if I can get a number of people who I met when I went to Toronto for the first time to do the speedrun marathon. By sheer coincidence, there was a group of Final Fantasy XIV fans and players who were holding a special event there. And so I'm trying to get some of those people to come and show their support for me on Friday the 24th to be part of the speedrun marathon that I'll be running there in Toronto. And then a couple weeks after that, I'm off to Niagara Falls to do the very same thing. So that will be all told within a course of a 3-month span for me, a total of 7 speedrun marathons. So that's a lot for me to have done over the course of this time span. And I know that with the new expansion coming in with Shadowbringers, speedrunning for Final Fantasy XIV as far as individual dungeons may go into a bit of a lull period, because that's what it's been going on like that right now. There hasn't been much progress in terms of individual world records, but we're still doing quite well with dungeon world records, especially having, as I mentioned, members of my free company teaming up with me, and we're putting out some amazing times. And it's really great to know that working together, we really have created something amazing. In fact, Isabel has even felt inspired to want to team up with me to see just how far we can push. And there is a separate category for doing dungeons unsynced, but with less than 4 people, but not as a solo player. So I'm going to see if it's possible the next time I speak with Isabel to team up to do some of those dungeons together, and maybe even get a 3rd person involved, just so that we can be able to say that we can do something like that and see how many records we can pull off, because it actually is, there is a category for that in the Final Fantasy XIV Speedrun World Records, but it's very underused. There are very few people who do those kinds of records or attempt them. I guess probably because they're just looking. There's just a lack of people who are interested in that sort of thing. So we'll see if we can be able to work together with Isabel to fill up some of the categories, just so that we can say, yes, we've accomplished this. This is how we're doing it, and this is how awesome it is. And so it definitely is something that has been a great source of inspiration for me to, as well, to promote the upcoming expansion. It's certainly been one of the main reasons why I've been getting involved in these speedrun marathons in the first place. And I am awaiting word on an 8th marathon, which would be taking place in August. And so I'm waiting. It'll probably be a little while until I find out whether or not I get into that one. But as it stands right now, 7 marathons in 3 months with the possibility of an 8th in the summer is just going to be so awesome, and I can't wait to share it with all of you guys when it happens. So before I close out this particular vlog, something else I should also point out as well. And this is something I really don't do much these days, because we haven't really been able to be successful in terms of recruitment lately. But we did recently pick up a new member, Callus Sycum. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce that last name. I haven't had a chance to ask her yet. But she came to us actually earlier this week. She initially applied, but I guess there wasn't anyone around to take her application, so she withdrew it. But then she came back a couple of days later, tried again, and she was able to get in this time. And so we had the chance to talk about her experiences with the game. Turns out she was interested in the game from the initial part of Realm Reborn, and had been playing for a little while, but then just dropped the game and then didn't pick it up again for a few years. So she's only just recently returned to the game, created this new character, which she is working quite heavily on, and it's already gotten up to level 43 as a white mage. So really well done by her, and we can't wait to see just how much she comes to enjoy the game and see what all she likes about it. So I think we'll be having the company of Callus for a while. It's certainly nice to have her. She's definitely enthusiastic about the game, that much is for sure. Also, as well, we picked up a new alt from Skyla as well, Omega here. did feature it in stream last week. And so this is her new character to be with us here at the Tales, while her main character is over in Brynhildr. Because, yeah, we've now reached the point as well where the window of opportunity for transferring servers with the ones that were realigned into the new Crystal Data Center is now closed. So, yeah, we won't get to see her main or Isabel's main ever again, but we at least know that we have their alts and that they're working on them, and that we really are glad that they'll still be having a strong presence in our free company, even if their mains are no longer with us. So we'll definitely be, of course, having lots of fun with them, just as we always have, because they've always been very valued members of our free company. We're still great friends with them. We always have had a lot of fun with those two. I'm really looking forward to seeing just how much they develop their alts here on Exodus and how much of an impact they'll have in our free company. It's nice to know that we'll still have them and that they'll still be very prominent in our free company. I'm very glad that we have not that we can still be able to have them. I feel like I know it's kind of weird to have that feeling like at least we have their alts, but I'm still satisfied with the fact that they're still playing them regularly and that they're still prominent in our free company. And that's what matters the most, is knowing that they still are members of our free company, that they still want to be part of our free company, just like everyone else that's within it. And that's what's the most important, is if you've made enough of an impact on someone that they still want to be part of your free company, then you know you've done something right, and that's something I think we can all take pride in. So, yeah, that's going to do it for this edition of the Tales of Eorzea vlog. As always, if you have a character here on Exodus or are looking to create one on Exodus, and you're interested in joining our free company, we'd be more than happy to have you with us. So, thank you very much everyone for watching, and until next time everyone, this is Matthew at Novara Autism, saying take care, and I'll see you soon.